Hey, I'm the MMA loser and I'm back with another video. Before I start today's video, I would like to tell you guys to watch this video at 2 times the normal speed or at least at 1.5 times the normal speed. And without any further ado, today let us talk about the main event of UFC 288 for the undisputed UFC Bantamweight Championship. The fight is going to be between former bantamweight champion and Olympic gold medalist Triple C Henry Cejudo and the current bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling is going to defend against him. So we are going to talk about Sterling versus Cejudo at UFC 288. Let us first and foremost look at their record. Henry is 36 years old and he has 16 wins and 2 losses. And both of those two less losses were decision losses. I think those 2 losses, one was a decision loss against Joseph Benavides, and of course against the GOAT, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. Apart from that, all you can see for Cejudo is wins. His last loss was against Joseph Benavides at UFC 24, the TUF 24 finale back in December 3rd, 2016. And prior to that, he lost to, of course, Demetrius Johnson in 2016. And since then, he has been on a winning streak and he defeated Wilson Reyes, Sergio Pettis. He defeated DJ again at UFC 277. And after that, he defeated TJ Dillashaw, Marlon Moraes, and Dominic Cruz. And before we move forward, I would like to say that Triple C, Henry Cejudo, is the guy who saved the UFC flyweight division because Dana White was talking about shutting down the flyweight division, but it was Henry Cejudo who actually saved the division. And now we have people like uh, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, then quite a lot of other fighters who are doing really well, and even Kai Kara France. So all of these people are doing really great things at flyweight division, and flyweight is exciting. People are excited to watch flyweight fights. So we have to give credit to Henry Cejudo where credit is due. And also let us look at the current UFC bantamweight champion, Aljamain Funkmaster Starling, who is who has been on a really good win string himself. He has been on a I think what 7 or 8 fight win streak. His last loss was against Marlon Moraes, which was a knockout win for Marlon Moraes back in 2017. And since then, he has defeated Brett Jones, Cody Stemmen, Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan. He defeated Peter Yan twice. The first time, he did not really defeat Peter Yan. He won that fight by disqualification, where he got knee to the head while he was on the ground. Then, of course, he lost. Then he defeated Peter Yan by split decision. In that fight, a lot of people, including myself, I think Peter Yan won that fight, but there was a weird fight. And of course, after that, he defeated TJ Dillashaw. And I think that was, if I'm not wrong, I think that should have been the last fight of TJ Dillashaw. And TJ Dillashaw was gravely injured even before the fight started. He had a dislocated shoulder. So that fight, I don't know who sanctioned that fight because he was already injured in that fight. He knew, his coaches knew, TJ was not even doing interviews. He was not appearing in the embedded series of UFC. So there was something wrong with TJ even before the fight happened. It was like 3 months or 6 months prior to the fight. Even when, yeah, just when he got into fight camp, he was already injured. And in that fight, I think in round two, Aljamain Sterling defeated TJ Dillashaw in round two. I think he should have been able to finish TJ Dillashaw in round one with a. If your opponent has a broken or a dislocated joint, you should have been able to finish him in round one. And I think even Aljo in that fight looked like he had he was he was just shocked that they allowed TJ to fight, and he was looking at Mark Henry and was it Mark Henry? I don't remember who was it. Yeah, Sarah Longo. Sorry, Matt Sarah and Ray Longo. I think he was looking at Ray Longo, and even Ray Longo was shouting that no mercy. But yes, I mean, that was a really weird fight. At that fight, there was a really weird fight, man. That made no sense. They should have not allowed TJ to fight. Now let look. If we talk about their record, Aljamain Sterling has 22 wins and 3 losses. Of course, his one of his losses against Marlon Moraes, and before that he lost to Rafael Assunção and Brian Caraway. And both of two of his losses were split decision, and his third loss against Marlon Moraes was a knockout. And in this fight, the biggest advantage for Aljamain Sterling would be his grappling skills. I would not say that his wrestling is going to be better than Henry Cejudo because let us be honest, Henry Cejudo on paper is arguably the best wrestler in UFC history. One of the youngest Olympic medalists. I think he was the youngest Olympic medalist from America that is wrestling medalist at just 20 years old. And he definitely has the championship mentality. And he only lost to the only person who ever finished Henry Cejudo was Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, and that was even before Henry Cejudo was the mixed martial artist. Henry Cejudo was just a boxer with wrestling. He was not really using kicks back then, but now Henry Cejudo has a really good kicking game because if I'm not mistaken, if I remember it correctly, he was throwing like really heavy kicks to Dominic Cruz, where Dominic Cruz would lift one leg to uh, avoid the kick, and the kick would end up hitting him in the other leg. So that's how good Henry Cejudo's kicking game has gotten. And remember, he's a wrestler. And Aljamain Sterling, I do not think he has great boxing. He throws those spinning fists, but I think his kicks are good as well. But his kicks are not exactly. He does not really throw kicks to knock you out. He's more of a guy who just wants to take you down and ground and pound you or get a submission win against you. But I don't think that strategy will go very well against Henry Cejudo because I would expect Henry to defend takedowns better than anybody, and I would like to see if Henry would take him down. I want to see if they wrestle who is better grappling wise. I would like to see if Henry does something because Aljamain will come for a takedown, and let's that would be because that is his go-to plan and that is his biggest or that is his strongest suit. That is his strongest weapon. I have not seen Aljamain Sterling win by TKO like a flash KO or spinning KO or whatever, or by 1-2s to the face, uppercut or anything. He has won most of his fights, whether it was against Sandhagen or even against Jan or TJ. All of those fights they ended on the ground. He submitted Corey Sandhagen in round 1 minute 28 second. And that begs the question, how bad is Sandhagen when it comes to the ground? Because if you, I mean, no doubt Aljamain Sterling is he's a great grappler, but if you lose in round 1 by submission, that's not really a great look for you. I'm just saying. So, and on the other hand, if we look at Henry's biggest weapon is going to be his pace because he puts a pace on you. Like he has defeated. The thing with Henry is that he has the ability. Henry has the ability to come back from uh, a disadvantage, or he has the ability to face adversity and come back as a champion. Henry was able to, like in his fight against Henry Cejudo's fight against Demetrius Johnson in the first round, I think he had some problem with his feet or his ankle, but he came back and he was able to land a few takedowns against DJ, which is not really an easy thing to do. And of course, he won that fight by split decision. Then again, against with Marlon Moraes, he had the same problem. In round 1, he kind of got dominated by Marlon Moraes. He came back in round 2, and I think he finished it in round 2, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I think he finished it in round 3. Okay, I was wrong. So that just goes to show that Henry Cejudo has the ability to bounce back and get a win, which is not exactly true when it comes to Aljamain Sterling, because in his fights, in both of his fights against Peter Yan, he was doing well in round one and round two, and in round four and five, in the championships round, he actually goes back. He lost with Yan. He definitely lost round three, round four and five. And in the first fight with Yan, of course, he was losing that fight all throughout the entire fight. Maybe he won round one, but overall he was losing that fight. So they both kind of go in opposite direction. Henry takes the first round slow, whereas Aljamain does his best work probably in round two and three, because in round one he tries to find his range and things like that, and in round two and three. But I'm more excited to see if Aljamain follows his game plan that he has followed all his career. That is, go for a takedown, land the takedown, or keep the fight on the ground and get a submission, or he just tries to do something else. Because Henry is not really, like, among all the wrestlers that he has faced, or all the other grapplers that Aljo has faced in his entire career. I think Cejudo is by far, by a long shot, the best grappler, the best wrestler. And I would definitely like to see Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling do good. And I think if Henry wins this fight, he will probably move up to featherweight and challenge Alexander Volkanovski for a featherweight championship. Will that be good? Who knows? I don't know. Anything can happen, because nobody gave any chance to Volkanovski against Makachev, and again, Volkanovski did well against Makachev. So you never know. The bantamweight division in itself looks really, really good right now. All the fighters at top 10, that is Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan, Marlon Vera, Rob Font, Song Yadong. Dominic Cruz, I'm not considering. I think he's not at the level of all the other fighters at top 10. And I think last Saturday, yeah, that is last night, Song Yadong did really well against Ricky Simon. He finished Ricky Simon in the fifth round. He looked really good, and he has called for a fight with Sean O'Malley. Then there is Marlon Vera, who lost to Rob Font. Rob Font is moving up. Rob Font has done really, like, Rob Font. I think Rob Font defeated Adrian Yanez. Sorry, Marlon Vera lost against Corey Sandhagen. So overall, the top five looks really good. But the thing is that if Aljo wins this Sunday, also wins this Saturday at UFC 288, then Merab will not fight Aljo. That is the problem. Or maybe they will have agreed to fight each other for the title. Hopefully they do fight, because I would like to see them fight. Or else he should just give up a ranking, because if you're not going to fight for the championship and you just keep other people fighting for the championship, that's bad. That's not really a great thing to do. But overall, I think bantamweight looks really, really good. Then of course we've got Umar Nurmagomedov and Saeed, and all the other, Jonathan Martinez, and of course one of the dark horse of bantamweight division, Rinya Nakamura. He's there as well. But I don't have anything else to say for Henry Cejudo versus Aljamain Sterling. Hopefully this will be a great fight, and we get to see an exciting matchup between the two. You guys can write in the comments and tell me who you think is going to win between Henry Cejudo and Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling. I say DJ. Anyway, and if you enjoyed the video, then drop a like, share this video, and please subscribe to my channel. I have really few subscribers, and if you subscribing to my channel will help me a lot. Peace out.